I thought it would be fun today to rank some final girls. I'm going to try to do this as spoiler free as possible, but obviously the fact that they are final girls kind of maybe gives it away a little bit that they may survive to the end, but I am going to include some final girls that may not survive through the whole franchise, but I will be saying a little bit about each of them and maybe some of the things that they have done, so there may be some spoilers throughout. I have done timestamps so you can kind of skip around. So with all of the final girls I'll be talking about today, I'm going to be ranking them on how fearless they are, but also how much I personally like them. So it's a combination of both of those things because I just know it will be biased. I'll also leave the tier list in the description, so if you want to play along with me then you can. So let's go through our tiers. Starting at S tier we have Can Be My Bodyguard. A tier is Nerves of Steel. B tier is Braver Than Me. C tier is Put In The Work. And the final tier, D tier, is They Got Lucky. So our first final girl is Sidney Prescott. She is a main character in the Scream franchise. Ghostface targets her and her friends time and time again, and it all links back to the murder of her mother, Maureen. Throughout these films there are lots of different Ghostface killers, but Sidney always ends up being tied in to this. Sidney is very brave and she is also a really good friend. She definitely shows fear. She is a normal person, but she is always there to defend others. She isn't one of my favourites though, and I do think because she goes against Ghostface, which is literally just like a normal person, they're not anything superhuman, they're usually like teenagers. She hasn't been against anyone crazy, so I think I'm going to put her in B tier, Braver Than Me. Next we have Maxine Minx from X and Maxine. Maxine is our final girl in the film X, where a group of young people making adult films are targeted by an elderly couple. Maxine, whether it be fighting back or just getting what she wants to get, she will fight till the end. She wanted to become a star, and we see in Maxine she does become a star. She would do absolutely anything to get what she wants. In the film Maxine, which is a sequel to X, we see her by herself now in Hollywood, working her way up the fame ladder. She fights back on creeps. There's a scene where there's a weird guy pursuing her and she can definitely defend herself. She also goes up against a cult situation and she gets herself out there. She is incredibly brave and has nerves of steel, so she's going to have to go in A tier. Next we have Emerald from Nope. Emerald and her brother OJ are horse wranglers for Hollywood after their father tragically passed, so they've now taken over this business as their own. They're staying at their family ranch looking after the horses. It's where they grew up, but their whole world turns upside down with sights of something suspicious in the sky. This is one of my all-time favourite films. Emerald is such a resilient character. We see this throughout the film, but we really see it with the ending, so I'm going to put her in A tier, Nerves of Steel. Next we have Stretch from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is not really a sequel to the first one because this is kind of really different. It's like how Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are different. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is a comedy. It's wacky, ridiculous, over the top, but a really fun time. Leatherface comes after Stretch, and in that moment when he's literally wielding a chainsaw seconds away from killing her, most people would run or just scream. She manages to come up with a genius idea and actually tries to seduce Leatherface, unable to find a way to escape. Her plan works and it just shows how smart her character is. She's got to go in the top tier. Next is Laurie Strode from the Halloween franchise. We see Laurie from the first Halloween that was done in the 70s to the latest film that came out a few years ago. You can really see how much she's grown through these films to the recent films where she is so set on getting rid of Michael Myers. She is just absolutely fearless. She's definitely worked her way up because of time and time again that Myers has come after her and come after her family. She's just had it. She's had enough. She wants him gone and she won't let anything stop her. Laurie has to go in the top tier. The next final girl is Tess from the film Barbarian. In the film Barbarian, Tess goes to stay at an Airbnb that she's booked but when she gets there she realizes that it's been double booked and a man is already staying there. Against her better judgment, she goes in and stays anyway, but to both of their surprise, there ends up being something in the basement. Tess not only is really brave and devises a plan of her own to get herself out of a really bad situation, she also goes out of her way to go back and help a stranger out of this situation. I love this film and I love Tess as a character. She is just such a good person. I'm gonna have to put her in S tier. Next we have Grace from Ready or Not. Grace goes to stay with her in-laws because she is getting married, but her in-laws have some rather interesting traditions to people marrying into their family. What she thought would be one of the happiest nights of her life ends up being a fight for survival. The whole family turns on Grace and she basically has to survive until morning or try to get out of there. She quickly learns that she needs to be smart and brave. I'm going to put Grace in A tier. Next we have Mia Allen from Evil Dead 2013. This is another one of my favourite films. We follow Mia, her brother and their friends who go to stay at a cabin in the woods. They go there because Mia is actually an addict and they want her to go cold turkey, so the best way they can think of possible is to take her out into the middle of nowhere so they can keep an eye on her and make sure she doesn't go and collect any drugs. It's not long before things go down at this cabin and Mia turns into a deadite following the reading of the Necronomicon that one of the friends stupidly does after they find it in the basement. The end of this film really solidifies Mia Allen as my favourite final girl. The end scene is just something I will never forget. It's one of my all-time favourite final scenes in a horror film. Mia Allen has to go in S tier. Next we have Nancy Thompson from A Nightmare on Elm Street. This film franchise follows the villain of Freddy Krueger. He is a dream demon, so when you know about him and you go to sleep, he feeds off your fears and he can literally control your dreams. Whatever happens in those dreams will happen in real life. If he injures you or even kills you, it will happen in real life. Nancy does manage to figure out Freddy's weakness. She is a resilient character, but I am going to put her in Braver Than Me. Next we have Cherie from Happy Death Day. Cherie gets stuck in a continuous time loop where she gets pursued and killed by the babyface killer. When she gets killed, she then wakes up and the day starts again. She has to figure out a way to stop this time loop. Cherie definitely gets smarter as the film goes on as she is figuring things out, but she really does have to put in the work, so that is the tier I'm going to put her in. Next is Jenn from the film Sweetheart. Jenn ends up getting stranded on a remote island. She is cast away from her friends that she was previously with and all alone, so she needs to basically try to survive. On top of this, she realizes that something inhuman comes out at night. This is a creature feature. Jenn definitely has to prepare to fight back, but she does what she needs to survive, so I'm going to put her in Nerves of Steel. Next we have Tara Carpenter from the two newest Scream films. Tara is actually our opening scene in Scream 5, but she ends up surviving the Ghostface attack. She does actually fight back as well. She shows resilience through these films alongside her sister. I'm going to put Tara in Nerves of Steel as well. Next we have Erin from You're Next. Erin goes to her family's house for a celebration dinner, but when they sit down to eat, they begin getting attacked. This whole film is a fight for survival, and it is also a whodunit because we don't know who is behind these masks. The villains are all wearing animal masks. Erin is a quick thinker as she has to basically act instantly to this spontaneous attack. Without giving anything away, the people attacking her are just kind of regular people. I do kind of want to put her in Nerves of Steel. Next is Clear Rivers from Final Destination. The Final Destination films are very much films that things are left up to chance and luck. Of course, the characters do have to put in the work to cheat death and avoid a death situation. They're not necessarily fighting back. They may just be being extra careful or just getting themselves out of a bad situation. It's very much an instinct thing. thing. Although I absolutely love Clear Rivers, I am going to put her in They Got Lucky. Next is Gale Weathers from Scream. Gale is another character in the Scream franchise who has been there through so many of the films. She is a news reporter. She kind of starts off being a little bit of a shady character, kind of doing anything to get the story. She is a little bit still like it, but she definitely has got better and become more of a better person. Gale really does go through a lot in these films, so I'm going to have to put her in Nerves of Steel. Now we have Cherie from Run Sweetheart Run. In this film, Cherie goes on a date with someone from work. I think it's a customer, and she ends up going back with him to have a drink at his place, but then we shortly see her running out of his house covered in blood. She has until morning to survive the night. She does have to put in some work. She does some kind of training, so for that reason I'm going to put her in C tier. Next we have Ellen Ripley from Alien. I think we all know how scary Alien is, and Ripley is so fearless. She puts people before herself and is just one of the most resilient final girls. They are in space with an alien on their ship hunting them. They basically have no way of getting out because they are just in the middle of space. They can't just like go anywhere else. They're stuck there, so they have to fight back. Without a doubt, Ripley has to go in S tier. Next we have Sienna from the Terrifier films. She is in Terrifier 2 and 3 and confirmed for the next film. These films surround the villain Art the Clown, who is just a sadistic maniac. He is also supernatural. We're kind of still waiting for more on his backstory. There is some connection between Sienna and Art. We don't know this yet. It looks like it's going to be supernatural fantasy kind of, but she has managed to get away from him so many times. Literally one of the only people who have really managed to get away from him. He is really sick and he is really scary. Definitely an absolute nightmare villain to go up against. I'm going to have to put Sienna in S tier. Now we have Rachel from The Ring. The Ring surrounds a cursed videotape. If you watch it, then you will get a phone call and someone will say 7 days down the phone. Then after 7 days, the spirit of a girl will climb out of your TV and kill you. On the lead up to this, strange things will start happening to you. You also may start to see things. Rachel is the main character and she watches this videotape and she soon believes that it's real when strange things start happening to her. She doesn't necessarily fight back, but she does lots of research, finds out about this tape and its backstory. She really puts in the work, so she has to go in C tier. Next is Samantha Carpenter from Scream. This is Tara's sister and we see her in Scream 5 and Scream 6. She is different from the other characters in this franchise. She has a little bit of extra oomph in her, let's say. It's hard to say too much without giving any spoilers, but she definitely isn't afraid to fight back. She has to go in S tier. And lastly, we have Sally from the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre follows a group of friends on a road trip. They end up coming across Leatherface and his family and have to fight for their lives against him. Being pursued by Leatherface is honestly one of the scariest things ever. Him wielding that chainsaw, wearing people's faces, I just feel like I would just freeze in that moment. I don't even know if I would be able to run. I feel like my legs would be like jelly. Maybe I would get a burst of adrenaline, but Sally is such a strong character. She has to go in S tier. So here is our final ranking today. Definitely let me know who you would have put in top tier. And remember, this is just my opinion. It is very heavily biased. I do actually really like all of these characters, which is why I chose them. There are, of course, so many more final girls. So if you would like a part 2, then definitely let me know. If you would like to join my Patreon, then I do extra videos over there. You can join on the first tier, or you can also join for free, as I do also do some free bonus videos as well. I'll see you again in another one very soon.